Welcome back to A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
Now's the right time to go all in with a VEASAN All Access subscription. All Access means Point Spread Weekly, VEASAN's digital magazine on sports betting, which features analysis from our top personalities and experts. VEASAN's betting guides, both pro and college football betting guides. 24/7 live video stream of VEASAN programs plus replays. Daily email summarizing the plays offered by hosts and guests. Exclusive subscriber-only stories and data on VEASAN.com. And the 2 payment options, a free 1-week trial. Then you pay $39.99 a month. You can cancel whenever you want. Or buy 1 year for $240 or $20 a month. A savings of 50%. All the details at VEASAN.com/subscribe. That's VEASAN.com/subscribe. Again, we get tweets, and we always appreciate the feedback at Beating the Book. 10JQKA. What Boise game are you going to this year? I have 2 kids that are juniors there. Would love to buy you a beer or invite you to a tailgate. Go Broncos. I don't know yet. I will let you know. You don't have to buy me a beer. Just want to say hi. I would love to say hi to you and your boys. We'll figure that out, and I'll let you know. A lot of support for Dan Weston. For us fantasy footballers that are loyal listeners, what's your team looking like? No one cares what my team looks like. I'm sorry. I appreciate you asking, but no one cares. Love the MLB parlay today, too. Who beats me? Angels scare me a little bit. Kiss Degenerate said that. I get that. Montgomery going to go off. Richard Palma, 77. Montgomery going to go off tonight like Hunt did against the Pats 2 seasons ago, Game 1. Nagy is the common denominator. We shall see. We shall see. And then Sharp Square, most fun bet daily, over under 55 minutes into the show when Gill's voice cracks, under -125. So true. I don't know what the story is. Got to work on that. Bill Krackomberger is here to save the day next on A Numbers Game at VEASAN.
Keep it right here for more of A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
VEASAN last week. Here's some of what you missed.
I think Melvin Gordon has to show up to get an accredited season towards free agency. It does him no good whatsoever to not show up. So he can wait 9 weeks and then he can go into free agency, or he can show up before he starts getting missing game checks. I think that's up to him. On the Zeke front, last week Zeke was supposed to be back for a Dak Prescott function. Whether he came back or not, I'm not sure. But there seems to be an indication that the offer the Cowboys have made is not quite as good as Todd Gurley in terms of guarantee, but it's good in terms of average per year. But there hasn't been much dialogue since that offer. So I think all bets are off. My sense, I think Zeke could miss a game, but I don't think he'll miss more than that.
Michael, always good to have you with us. And want to switch to a team that you're very familiar with and that you worked with for a number of years, the New England Patriots. A lot's been talked about with Tom Brady and his age now, but listen, he confounds folks with his performance, and credit to him for that. But let's look at some other things that I think can impact the Patriots. Would love to get your thoughts on this. Their center, David Andrews, is out for, really, we don't know, indefinitely because of blood clots in his lungs, and that's a serious condition for him. We wish him well, but that's also a key position on that offensive line, maybe the most key position on the offensive line. A revamped receiver core. How do you envision this coming about or affecting the Patriots, and maybe some of the things that they'll do in this last week of the preseason?
Well, with their first thing, they made 2 trades today. They traded for an offensive lineman from the Arizona Cardinals, Cunningham, who can play right or left tackle. He's really a developmental player. I think he'll give them some depth and flexibility. They did not have a swing tackle. And then there's a young man named Elsinore from the Baltimore Ravens that can play guard or tackle. He'll give them another guard because Ted Karras, their third guard, is going to go start and play center in place of David Andrews, however long he's going to be away from the team. So the Patriots are being proactive with this. They've added 2 players tonight, just happened, and that'll give them some depth as they go into the opening of the weekend. And with Dante Scarnecchia, I mean, look, let's face it, this guy's a great coach, paid Trent Brown a ton of money. I think he'll make both these guys better players.
VEASAN.com is your trusted source for exclusive sports betting news, data, and analysis. This is Brent Musburger, and here is your VSiN action update. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Cubs open a weekend series today at the Milwaukee Brewers. Cubs are the $1.23 road favorite. They've won 2 straight. They'll have Jose Quintana on the mound against Chase Anderson of the Brewers. Milwaukee, the $1.13 moneyline underdog, 9.5 over the total at Miller Park. The first place Cardinals 2.5 in front of the Cubs. The $1.75 favorite at home today against the San Francisco Giants at Busch Stadium. 8.5 over the total. The Nationals $1.17 road favorite at the Braves, who are plus 107. The Bears 3-point favorites at home against the Packers tonight. It's Thursday night football to kick off the season at Soldier Field. With your action update, I'm Mike Senna.
Sign up now for VSiN's free daily newsletter. Get an email every morning with news, analysis, and betting resources that will help you become a smarter sports bettor. Sign up at vsin.com/newsletter. vsin.com/newsletter. It's like getting a daily postcard from your guys in the desert. Get the latest VSiN odds at vsin.com. And remember, cash and tickets is what it's all about.
It's a numbers game with your host, Gill Alexander.
Hour number 2 of a numbers game. Not let Chuck Barkley do that again. Jeff is like, he's not going to get 10 in a row any week.
I just cashed against the guys in the basement.
Yeah,
on
that I was going to step on him.
Yeah.
You know why? Because it's too low. The audio is too low, and it's improperly timed. I'm hitting a post.
Oh, don't make excuses.
It's like doing a slow jam show.
Don't make excuses.
It's Jeff Parles, everybody. Producer number 5 is here. Also the host of Market Watch, Monday through Friday here at VSiN, 4 to 6 Pacific, 7 to 9 Eastern. Also doing me the pleasure of being the producer here for, let's call it, moving forward 4 out of 5 days a week. Jeff, can we say that? You'll be here 4 out of 5 days a week in the morning?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Monday is Gill Alexander and Chrissy Andrews anyway, so there'll be a great show. A great show as always on Guessing Lines.
I don't have to be there for that.
And I'll be. The VSiN listeners will be dealing with me from 9 to 11 on Sunday mornings.
There you go. Yeah, you're also doing Sunday mornings.
Yes.
That's right. Okay. Well, it is Thursday, hour number 2. And so people who are keen numbers game listeners know that this hour in the past has been the football free-for-all with Bill Krackomberger and Warren Sharp. We have one of those two gentlemen here right now. It's Bill Krackomberger, at Bill Crackman with the K on Twitter. What's happening, Billy?
Good morning. Yeah, it's one of my lines from one of my favorite lines from Goodfellas. Warren's gone. There's nothing anybody can do. He's just gone.
He's just gone.
Ready to knock the phone booth.
However, for those who are like, wait, no Warren whatsoever, that's not the case. We will have Warren here, we believe, on Fridays every week.
It's possible I'll pop in here to make it a very colorful show on Fridays once in a while. Then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
But yeah, hey,
he's got things to do.
Yes. And listen, Warren he was just on some shows out in California and stuff. I mean, he was on
Colin
Hurd.
He was on Colin Cowherd, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a big show. Yeah, so he flew out to California and stuff. He's doing a lot of things. He's got a lot of NFL stuff he's doing, and you know, this market is exploding.
Yeah.
And you know, Warren's in demand.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. Good for him. We encourage and support all of it. Couldn't be happier for him.
Well, good. No, and we'll be doing some stuff with him throughout the year. And
just
you know what it is for the listener. And I know Warren's not listening now because he's doing something.
So now you can say what.
No, but for the listener, it's a bonus to have me in, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
No self promotion. I'm terrible at that. For them, it's a bonus because I get stuff out of Warren. If you remember last year, I'll actually say, Warren, you could tell the listeners that, right? You can tell the listeners that, can't you? Like, he would never volunteer a game.
It's very true.
Never.
It's
but
very
I'll
true.
Say, Warren, let's give him a game. Give him one of the games. Come on, it's already bet. Just give him the game. Really didn't move. It's a good line still. Like, he doesn't like to give out stuff like publicly and stuff.
That's right.
Either why though, I hate giving out plays.
But listen, we're not saying 90% of what Warren doesn't provide isn't awesome, because
it is.
But you're right. There was that thing with actual bets where we had to like pull teeth on it.
No, but no. Although Warren's great. Listen, he's on a lot of different programs now, and we're still very happy to have him. And
I'm very happy to have him on Fridays. I would love to, because listen, there is nothing like his what he talked about with the Indianapolis Colts a couple years ago when Jacoby Brissett played that year for Andrew Luck, how the Colts were leading into multiple fourth quarters. They led into 9 fourth quarters. They ended up with a 4-12 record. But Warren isolated their horrific play calling late in games. He's gone on unbelievable rants about the Jacksonville Jaguars famously. Just year after year after year, he comes up with these amazing things at Sharp Football. And so we're lucky to have him, and we're happy to have him on Friday.
And, it's funny that Warren and I talked about Brissett a couple days ago and how everyone's betting against the Colts now for the season, and they're Brissett's he may do a good job here. This may be a better Colts team than people think. They're just automatically thinking Luck's out and it's over. Their season's over. So it might be a little bit higher on the Colts than the public.
The pendulum swung too much. Overreaction a bit. Yeah. I think you're right about that.
I come in today and you said, what do you want to talk about? And we don't. We just go. Yep. But and it's nice to. What's your brother's name? First name?
Ron. My brother's in studio.
His brother's in studio. A shout out to Ron. If there was no Ron, there may not have been action with us involved. I mean,
that's correct.
Yeah. So I owe you a hot dog at the hot dog cart.
He's going to give you a $1.50 hot dog.
Two of them.
Make it 3.
And a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's pretty good. But so let's talk about, you don't know I'm going to say this yet, Jersey.
Oh, let's do it.
My article in Gaming Today's about Jersey.
By the way, fine appearance by you last week on the phone.
I was trying to go.
You're getting everybody all hyped up.
Yeah, they were.
It was awesome.
Listen, I have to tell you, I'm not a giant fan of FanDuel, but I'm not listen, listen here, I'm going to give them a huge plug here. So FanDuel is doing some things right here. I just don't like those money lines, how they're so wide on these the Euro way of charging -135, come back even. We're used to -120 even. So I can never fully support Jersey books with money lines like that, until they start realizing that the margins are so wide that it's not acceptable. However, there's so many more things in their favor that it overcomes that. Here's a perfect example. 0 vig on the title odds for the Super Bowl until 5:30 p.m. tonight at FanDuel. I mean, they took the teams from 5-1, the lowest team, up to 8-1. Patriots 8-1. Kansas City Chiefs 8.5-1. Saints 11.5-1. Rams 13.5. Eagles 15-1. I mean, this is really a special thing that FanDuel's. I wish I was there. I'd probably put some action on some teams here.
What's your schedule this year? Are you planning on flying out of here after the show every week?
I was gonna after. That's the reason why we were originally thinking of Warren and I coming on and doing a Friday episodes, and so we're flying. I'm sorry. I'm going to be flying back after Thursday a lot. Mm-hmm. I'll be flying back to.
Good life.
Yeah.
By the way, the thing about that straddle that you brought up, because I always want to bring this up when you say that, talking about the -130 versus the +100 coming back. So that's at least a dime worse than you will get other places.
Yes.
In terms of the straddle.
Yes.
What those we call them the Euros, somewhat not affectionately.
Yeah.
Right? But what the European influence that you're referring to is, by doing that, is what they're counting on. And by the way, correctly so, they're counting on this because they know it's a done deal for them. They know it's a lock. Is that there's a whole new wave of bettors, right? A whole new undereducated wave of bettors who now are more likely to bet because it's legal, who couldn't care less about that.
They don't even know about it.
They don't even know it's happened.
No, they don't know anything about it.
And so that's what.
So I may be a little bit anal and a little bit too much overboard with that. No, I may be anyway, though. Yeah. Seriously, because they're especially FanDuel and DraftKings. I think makes up 70% of all the wagering in New Jersey. So. They have the wider lines and they're getting all the money. So,
Yeah, and I don't say it to say they shouldn't care less.
Yeah.
Right. They should absolutely care.
I always look out for the player. I'm just trying to, maybe if I terrorize them a little bit, they'll think about it, but maybe not. I'm sure all the volume they're doing.
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that they are exploiting might be no, that's the right word. They're exploiting the ignorance of people, and they know that the people are not hip to what those things mean mathematically, and so they're able to do it. If they're able to do it and get away with it, they'll do it.
Yeah, but however, maybe just don't patronize the money lines. That's all.
That's
just
right.
stick with when they first came to the Meadowlands there, if you remember, the first 2 weeks, I wrote a column on them. I literally terrorized them. They were every game had -3 or minus whatever the spread was, but they added -115 on each side instead of 110. They tried to get away with that at first. Right. I mean, So it's you say these things, you bring it up, and you try to educate some people, and maybe they won't play the money lines there. They'll stick with the booster bets and the bonus. There's booster bets every single day. I kind of didn't talk about that. Most of these Jersey books have a booster bet where something would be, if you bet this and this together, would be plus 130. However, if you bet the booster bet, it's plus 180. They actually bring some. They're actually giving money away. No, listen, this is for the smaller better. It is. They're a $100 max bet, maybe even $50 max bet, but they're giving you 50s and 100s like every week just to patronize their sports book. When
they do things like parlay boosters,
yes, parlay boosters.
I've seen that as well.
Yep.
Take a few moments to run the math.
Work it out.
Yeah,
Work out.
By the way, there's sites where you can just plug in. You don't have to do any simple math. Sites you can just plug in
Google
the numbers.
parlay calculator.
Right, just plug it in and see for yourself. Is it really a boost?
Right.
That's the first question you should be asking yourself.
Yep.
And if so, by how much?
Sure.
And just become familiar with that.
Yeah. No, it's a great thing to do. Like I said, the Jersey books are leading the country, and I say Jersey, they're going to be in other areas too, and I can't wait. And they will be here. They're working on it now. I know some companies here that are, dealing with gaming now in Nevada, and we need that. We need that. We need the. We need the competition here. I noticed Stations had 105 on tonight's game. So on both sides. Last night they were offering that. So Stations is going to be offering some 105 juice. Still waiting to see what the South Point's doing. Unless there's something come out yet? Anything going on here yet? Any reduced juice or any kind of bonuses happening here? I know they were going to, supposedly.
Well, they're famous for doing that at the March Madness. Everything goes down to minus 105. So,
right.
I mean, South Point is very eager to, as Jimmy said, very eager to give away money this year.
Yeah,
so I'm sure they've got things.
Listen, I'll be willing to lay, instead of $1.10, I'll be willing to lay $1.12 if they just stop the smoking in the book. That'll be fine with me.
It's so true.
Just stop the smoking in the whole joint, and I'm good.
Filtration system not to your liking.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
We love the South Point, though.
Yeah, no, I do. Of course. I was actually thinking about coming here. I'm probably going to go downtown tonight, though. Let's see what that vibe looks like. Maybe at the D or something.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
It's going to open at night. I figured Derek will be going crazy down there with the crew.
At the Long Bar?
At the Long Bar.
Derek Stevens and Mike Palm have done such a tremendous job.
Yeah.
And you know what? For as much credit as we give them, they probably deserve even more because they did everything the right way.
Yeah.
When you're a new person coming into any industry, people look at you askance and they want to, human nature sucks. So people are terrible and people want to villainize anyone they can if they have a reason to. But Derek and Mike really included everybody. They had dinners where they invited other bookmakers. They didn't try to barrel over anybody. And so in that respect, they really just were pitch perfect, I believe, just in everything that they did. And their contest, the Circus Sports Million contest, guaranteed payout of $1 million for the winner. It looks like they're going to exceed 1,500 entries.
Yeah, 15. They're going to have 1,600 by tonight.
Yeah, by tonight they should, right?
Yeah.
And it goes till Saturday. You can still enter till Saturday.
But that extra money will go back into the pool.
Into the quarterly. So that's right. So Mike Palm was saying that the number that they're trying to get to, the nice number anyway, would be 1,700. Therefore, the quarterlies would go from 50,000 to 100,000.
Wow.
If that were the case.
Yeah.
So, so
I was down there and I signed up for the Circa app. They're offering a lot of different bets down there, and they're obviously I was going to write about this in Gaming Today next week a little bit. I always say the Vegas, quote-unquote Vegas line is total BS, and the line comes from Costa Rica. The books copy it.
Right.
Of course, March Madness, that wasn't the case. These guys here at South Point put up the line before the offshore sports books. It looks like the Circa's putting up the money, putting up the lines before anybody else. Definitely the totals. Definitely, I'm sure the sides. So I'm going to pay more attention this Sunday night before anybody else. So hey, it's the Circa line. I'll just tell you right now, those guys have done a great job. And Derek told me personally 2 days ago. He's like, listen, we're going to take a bet. Okay, great. We know some guys are sharper. Fine. You bet over 55 for your dime. We'll move to 57. And hey, we want to say we want to have that branding that we're doing this first. It may cost us some money at first, and people that are probably signing up for the Circa Sports app right now, probably a lot of sharp guys in that pool. I would think. Mm-hmm. So right now they're probably going to be losing some money a little bit at first, but in order to gain market share and gain that particular branding, that's what you have to do in the beginning. These companies don't make money in the beginning. It's all about the future.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great thing for the town. It's a great thing for the better. All these sports books are being swallowed by the bigger sports books that have come in. Now, it hasn't happened lately, but when I first came to town, there was like 25 different options to bet sports. There's 9. I mean, it's ridiculous. So it's good to see a 10th go in or something like that.
Well, we said this pre-legalization, right? The hope with legalization was that competition would spur innovation.
Yeah.
And so if that's what's happening, it's a wonderful thing for everybody.
Yep.
It's a wonderful thing for everybody.
New Jersey has like double the amount. They're going to have like 18 sports books online by week 4, I heard. The online sports books, the ones that are on the app sports books. Not only brick and mortars that are in Atlantic City. And by the way, like I said, I was in Atlantic City last week. They have definitely improved. The books are beautiful. I'd say Bally's, Oceans, Tropicana, Borgata, they put millions and millions into their sports books. I was over at Borgata for one day.
The foot traffic there is unbelievable, Borgata.
Yeah, the foot traffic is big, but yet when I was in those sports books on Friday, the holiday weekend, they were dead. Didn't make any sense to me. People are betting on the app. 80% of people are bet on the apps. That was the only one that confused me, that sports book. It's like a restaurant masquerading as a sports book. I think there's 15 seats for customers if you want to go in and bet, but there's 150 if you're going to sit down and pay money for a meal or a drink. And it kind of confused me too. You walk up to the tellers and there's plexiglass, thick plexiglass between you and the teller.
We're talking about which now, the Borgata?
The Borgata.
Okay.
Yeah, like I wrote in my article, I feel like I'm visiting my Uncle Tony in prison rather than putting a sports bet in.
Is your Uncle Tony in prison, by the way?
He's out now. He's all right.
What was he in for?
Yeah, I can't.
That's some stuff.
Right now, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so, but yeah, so I besides that sports book, I was at the Bally's, which put these big, beautiful screens, $5 million in the place. There was nobody there. And the intimate books, the Golden Nugget. I love the Golden Nugget sports book. One of the more important things is I can actually bet these spots, and it doesn't show up on a screen like a Don Best screen, because no one is PointsBet, Poker Stars, all 888. They're not on the screen to look at. So you like something, you can bet it there, and it's not gonna cause an immediate rush to move everywhere. So I'm going to be betting. I'm going to be doing a lot of my betting in New Jersey while I'm there, and I'm probably going to be there. I'm not going back till the weekend of the 20th. Roseanne Barr and Andrew Dice Clay together that weekend too. That should be an interesting Mr. and Mrs. America. So yeah, they're going to be. So I'm going to see them, and I'm going to be hanging out in AC that weekend. That should be fun.
All right. You did bring up, before we go to break here, you brought up tonight's game briefly.
Yeah.
Between the Packers and the Bears. Do you have anything going for that?
No, but I mean, the -3, -05 at stations on the Bears would be the only way. You know why I say this? It's good value right now. A little bit, it's -3, -20 at most spots. So it was some good. And I don't know if they're going back to it today. They did it yesterday. Just if you want to bet a small bet on something. I know you have to have a bet on tonight's game. I know it. I understand the way
I was saying earlier, there's only 255 more games.
No,
don't have to bet this.
Yeah,
tonight.
I know, but no, they have to.
They have to.
So
they have to.
Yeah, maybe you throw a peanut on a nugget on the Bears, but I actually didn't bet it, so. I will be betting some prop bets, though, for sure. So
in-game for me. Do you bet in-game at all?
I'm going to do some more in-game. Because
that has not been something that you have done in the past,
no,
really.
I have. Well, and if you do it, I'll tell you again, and I know these operators don't like to hear this.
Right.
During the commercials only.
Yes.
They have a 7 to 10 second delay on you. And I'm not saying they will cheat you, but they will, I don't know.
Spin. A little spin.
Yeah,
might happen.
there's some operators in this town that I'm not even allowed to play with because I've called them out on stuff like this. So, they don't think it's cheating. They don't think it's cheating. They just think that that's part of their job. So you caught the ball. Oh, that's your team. Deny the wager. You have to bet during the commercials. During the commercials, there's no cheating going on. Just make sure you get your bets in. And, if you're in that spin mode that you're talking about, that's just a terrible delay mode that they put you in. I don't know I haven't checked a lot of the apps lately, so hopefully that's changing a little bit. And that
happens.
It's going to be a giant thing. In-game wagering one day will probably eclipse regular sports wagering.
Listen, in 2010, I tell this story not too frequently, but every once in a while. 2010, I had a gentleman on my podcast. Yes, I had a podcast in 2010.
I did it. I remember.
I remember you did. One of the famous lines ever. Gill, it's like they put a funnel all over Vegas. Do you remember saying this?
I do.
They put all the trash in the world in that funnel, and it all landed in Vegas.
Well, I hate the down Vegas.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Yeah.
You were very upset that day.
Yeah.
But I had a gentleman who was a derivatives trader in the UK on the show, and he was the one responsible for, at the time, Cantor Gaming's Midas algorithm. That was supposed to be the engine of the in-game wagering. And he said at the time, in his lovely British accent, he said, in the UK, in-game wagering is over 50%. You'll have that here within 5 years. And I told him, I was like, yeah, we're not that clever, right? We won't get there in 5 years, but I'll make a bet with you on it. But I think he's right that in the long term, it absolutely will be.
Yeah.
And so whether it was 5 years or 15 years, he's right in the end.
They really thought they were going to be the top of the world on when they came to town.
That's
took
a whole
over.
other thing, yeah.
Yeah. I've had my wars over there with the new Cantor management. I love the guy Tony that runs the sports lines and stuff, but some of their policies I just don't agree with. Drink tickets, and then again, I was in New Jersey, and you can't get drink. Doesn't matter what you bet at the Borgata. You can bet $10,000 a game. You're not getting drink. You're not getting a bottle of water. You're paying for it. Oceans Casino, the William Hill casinos, you're not getting drinks. The books that are outside books, you're not getting drink tickets. So I was shocked the Borgata. I figured they would have, I don't know. I just figured, you have the top tier card there. You go to the counter, you make a bet. And I actually asked, my buddies were there, and I asked for a couple bottles of drink tickets for bottles of water. And I bet $5,000 on one game. I said, do you guys give drink tickets? My buddies won a couple. Then they said no. Wow. Unbelievable.
Sorry, you're just not a big enough high roller.
Doesn't matter what you bet in the sports book. You have to, I actually got my points off my card and just bet it, and just had to charge the waters or pay cash. That's it.
All right. The travels of Bill Krackomberger. More with Billy next on A Numbers Game at VSiN.
Cool.
Keep it right here for more of A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
I don't know. I understand why they're going. By the way, some other double standards. This has nothing to do with Andrew Luck, but this has to do with us as sort of a fan, as sort of the nation of hot takes and fans. Remember when Vontae Davis quit on them at halftime and we murdered him for doing so? Do you remember when Josh McDaniel looked like he was taking the Colts job and then he spurned them and everybody murdered Josh McDaniels for doing that? Here's Andrew Luck 2 weeks before the season. Are we really giving him a free pass on this and we're murdering those other two guys? Character murder, of course. I'm just saying, we have to sort of check ourselves sometimes who we give free passes to. I believe Andrew Luck has gotten free passes on many things through his whole career. I think he's been an interception machine at times, certainly during the postseason. People tend to look the other way. I've said this from the beginning of Andrew Luck's career in the postseason. We're just going to, if that was somebody else, would we excuse it as much?
In Iowa, for one example, the book there, Ameristar in Council Bluffs, you reported they had $100,000 in liability on the Cornhuskers to win the national title already. Well, then I saw Ben Fowkes tweet last night. No, forget $100,000. They're up to $250,000 now. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. We had an update after I posted that first tweet, and it had already grown to $250,000. I think they had 260 bets within a week on their futures pool, the odds to win the national championship, and 162 or somewhere around there were on Nebraska. 60% of the money that's in the pool altogether is on the Cornhuskers. And to put that in comparison, there are 16 total bets on Clemson and Alabama combined, but over 160 on the Huskers.
Do you know what their odds are right now, the Cornhuskers to win it?
So they started them at 61. This is a Penn National book. It's a Ameristar Casino in Council Bluffs, which is right across the Missouri River from the Omaha. They started at 66-1 on the Huskers. They've actually moved it up. They're now offering them at 100-1. One of their philosophies is we want to offer good prices and encourage and incentivize local customers to come out and play because they think it's fun for people to root for the hometown team and just want to get them involved. So it's a pretty smart idea, in my opinion.
How about that? I love that idea.
I'm Brett Musburger. I want to tell you about PointsBet, New Jersey's premium sportsbook. They have the best promos out there, like No Juice Saturdays for every preseason football game. Also on Saturdays, PointsBet is offering plus 100 odds on all spreads and totals. Download the PointsBet app today, and you'll get $1,000 in risk-free bets. Just sign up with the code VSIN. Now, New Jersey only, must be 21 or older. Additional terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. PointsBet. Stay sharp.
Welcome back to A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
We get tweets at Meeting the Book. Robert DeLuga off this morning. We'll be listening to Bill and Gill's segment coming up on VSiN Live. Thank you for that. Betouche. I don't know if that's the way it's pronounced. Forgive me if it isn't. Gill, did I miss the pod for Guessing Lines week 1, or is it not up yet? Thanks. Enjoy your shows. Guessing Lines always starts week 2. So Chrissy Andrews, Guessing Lines, Monday. Right here on A Numbers Game. We'll put it in podcast form for you as well. Brian Wright. Oh, what happened? You went off the air. Game Plus, Channel 238, Optimum Cable, which is in Canada, in New York City. We went off the air there. Suddenly, we lost your live feed around 10:45. Now they put up arm wrestling. Tech issue. We'll be back tomorrow. Is that correct, Jeff Barley? Yeah? Okay. We'll be back tomorrow. Of course, they're not hearing this in Game Plus, but that's what happened there. Yo, Gil, what's the deal with the Megapod? Oh, we're doing the Megapod today. After the show, Todd Wishnev and Mike Palm, Megapod. By the way, speaking of Mike Palm, to clarify what you were saying, Billy, about them posting opening college football lines, which, if you recall, the Win used to do, right?
Yes, on Sunday nights, the Win put up, Avello put up the line there. Small amount, but at least they had them up.
All right, well, here's what Mike Palm is saying. They are shooting to put the college football lines and totals up by 10:30 a.m. Pacific every Sunday.
Wow.
So right after kickoff of NFL games, they should pop up.
Amazing. That's just it's unprecedented. I've never even heard someone doing that. I mean, even thinking about doing it. We all know it comes from Costa Rica normally. They have a guy who shapes the line. The line maker at CRIS, C-R-I-S, Costa Rica International Sports, they put up the first line. They have someone that comes in and bets that line. This is something that the public is never going to know. So they have someone that comes in and bets that line. That's given to them, and each line he goes over, he passes or he bets, and then they put up the line based on this particular guy betting to the public on Sunday nights, and then everyone copies that line.
One human or a collection of?
It's actually one human. It was, last I know, that was given the opportunity to bet, and interesting. It could have changed, but
yeah, because here's what others probably, I mean, most people probably don't know either, is that they have a amazing system of profiling bettors. Right, so they have all of your lifetime bets and have an unbelievable system of rating the type of bettor that you are. So if you are one of these successful guys, and maybe you're talking about one specifically,
yeah.
But they know exactly who to go to calibrate those lines,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, everybody else have at them.
And, I remember years ago people saying that Pinnacle Sports was the real sharp sports book years ago in Curacao. And they had the low margins, the low juice. And they went to that automated software right away. And where if you bet the game and you're a sharp guy, it's going to overmove. And they had like some of the greatest software in the beginning. They were sold. The original guys that owned Pinnacle were the sharpest guys. I mean, the three wise men, I like to refer them to. They were really the sharpest guys, and Pinnacle sold now. The margins are much different. The model is much different, even though they probably don't want people knowing they sold. It's not like it was back then. If player A would bet a game, they would move 11 cents if he was sharp. But if player B, who's a total square, just has a lot of money, they'd move 1 cent or not move at all. So it's interesting how these algorithms type of work and these things these artificial intelligence. So
I promised the folks that I would go through Bill Barnwell's 5 teams most likely to have a decline. We already talked about those. Now the 5 teams most likely to improve. So if you don't mind, Bill, I'll take a little parenthetical aside here and talk about these teams real quick, and then perhaps we'll segue into a bet or two.
Sure.
Barnwell is real good track record on these. We talked about with the teams likely to decline that 10 of 11 by an average of 4.2 wins have actually gone his way based on his based on the analytics he looks at. So the teams most likely to improve per Barnwell: Great article at ESPN.com. San Francisco 49ers. No surprise there. They were 4-12. They, of course, had an injury to Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the headline there. But they had a Pythag win expectation of 5.8 wins, so 1.8 wins higher than their 4-12 record suggests. Record in games decided by 7 points or fewer, 3-5. And if I go to the turnover differential, where did the San Francisco 49ers end up last year? Dead last. Minus 25 in turnover differential last year. So again, the thing with turnover differential is you don't expect that to be sustainable either to the good or to the bad. By the way, the record for the greatest turnover differential of all time, my brother in the corner knows what this is because we grew up on this. The 1983 Washington Redskins
had a feeling.
Had a turnover differential of plus 43. Look it up.
How is that possible?
It actually happened.
How is that possible?
Because they would be plus 4 every damn week, it seemed like.
Wow.
It was it's just an amazing thing. You have to, you almost can't believe that number. But anyway, San Francisco is minus 25. Think about that. That's more than halfway to the bad.
That's pretty impressive in the wrong way, too.
That's right. That's pretty impressive in the wrong way, exactly. So I'm all over. Barnwell is absolutely correct. I even have the Niners to win the division at 4-1, plus 395 specifically. Also on his teams most likely to improve, beyond the San Francisco 49ers, Carolina Panthers. A lot of people betting the Panthers. We talked about that in David Purdum's notes, that Panthers getting a whole bunch of overplays somewhere there in New Jersey. They had a minus 6 point differential last year. They 7.8 wins as opposed to 7, so not really much of a difference there. But their record in games decided by 7 points or fewer, 2-7. So Cam Newton and company can get that together. By the way, they were plus 1 in turnover, so nothing there. Moving on, the third most of his most likely, Bill Barnwell's most likely to improve, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 5-11. A lot of people expecting big things out of Jameis Winston now with Bruce Arians as their head man. They were not projected, but their Pythag, which is just really a look at points scored, points given up, should have been 6.5 as opposed to their 5-11 record. So 1.5 games better they should have been based on that. By the way, let me just say this about Pythagorean expectation. It's a Bill James baseball thing that is tried and true, runs scored, runs prevented over a 162-game schedule. There's a formula for it in baseball. I won't bore you with it. But it is tried and true. Don't question it. It really works out very nicely. In football, I'm a little more skeptical. It's only 16 games. So I don't know how much I read into that. Record in games decided by 7 points or fewer last year for the Bucs was 3-6. So that's not good. And then their turnover differential, only the Niners were worse. Minus 18 in turnovers last year. So you got to figure that's not going to happen again. So I get it with the Bucs.
The one issue with that turnover differential is that Jameis Winston is a turnover machine.
He is a machine.
So that is the one big issue with that. Look, Tampa's improved at head coach. Arians is an upgrade over Cutter. It's a put up or shut up year for Jameis. If he doesn't perform, he's going to be with a different team next year. I kind of like that a little bit there, Gill. And they play a last place schedule. Only downside is that division is not easy. Those other 3 teams are all solid football teams.
People drafting Jameis Winston high in fantasy.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That was the most memorable part of the entire Tampa Bay Buccaneers Hard Knocks year was the fact that the very first episode, Jameis was about to get sacked in a scrimmage, and he threw it just like he does in every regular season game. It was just up in the air. You're like, oh, they haven't fixed that yet. And the other 2 teams for Barnwell, the Jets, who are 4-12, their Pythagorean expectation was 5.4 wins. They were 1-5 in record in games decided by 7 points or fewer. They, too, were on the wrong end of turnovers to the tune of minus 10 last year. And finally, rounding out, the New York Giants, who he believes will improve. The Giants, who were 5-11 last year, should have won 7 games based on points scored and points given up. The record in games decided by 7 points or fewer was 4-8. FPI has them projected with the 5th easiest strength of schedule in all of football. And the Giants, in terms of turnovers, nothing to see here with the Giants. They were actually +2, so you could throw that out. But those are the 5 teams for them again. Giants, Jets, in reverse order. Giants, Jets, Buccaneers, Panthers, and, of course, the San Francisco 49ers, most likely to improve per Bill Barnwell, who has a great track record with that. So factor that in, get your season win totals in just before the season starts here. You still have time.
Tough on the Jets, though, with that win total at 7.5. That's a difficult one to look at.
Yeah,
I agree.
But as I've told you, Gil. I'm all in on Darnold having a huge year. It's just a matter of the defense.
Damn.
Yeah.
All in on Darnold.
I'm all in on him. I think him and Mayfield are both going to end up being great in the league. And Mayfield already has proven it a little bit.
I believe it with Mayfield for sure. I'm not yet sold on Darnold. Not yet sold. A little too much of an interception machine for me to buy in entirely. But you're a Jets fan. You see him more than I do, so maybe you know something I don't.
Well, as I've proven over the last 2 weeks, Gil, I know next to nothing. But I've all.
Just want to throw that.
Look, it comes down to the defense. The Giants one's fascinating though, because that's one team that we've seen the win total get hammered down across town. There are some 5.5s out there now.
Yeah, but I will say this about the Giants. Like I've talked about how the Giants. I've thrown the Giants, Redskins, and Raiders all into that same pool of teams that suck and will be worse than you think they are. But actually, the Giants, of those three, if you told me, okay, which is the one of those three that you could actually see doing well? Well, let's define well. Credibly, right? Respectably. They're not going to the playoffs or anything, but it would be the Giants. Because I think the Redskins are just terrible. Their head coach is a mess. They've got no wide receivers. They have 25 quarterbacks, which means they have none. Might be an exaggeration with 25. And they have to hold, their defense has to hold the opponent to 17 points every game for them to have a shot. And the Raiders' schedule is just brutality. Do you have any season wins that you made this year?
I went under on the Redskins.
Under on the Redskins? Yeah, I think that's the right play.
Yeah,
they're so six.
And I say it was one of Warren's things, of course. He liked that. And, went over on Carolina.
Over on Carolina. So you agree with these?
Yeah, over in Carolina. And San Fran to win the division. Is that what you had?
That's what I had.
4-1
plus 395. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also a small play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Very nice.
Oh yeah. So
anything else you're willing to share?
No, we had about a dozen, but they're the strongest ones actually were over Carolina and
wow
and under Washington.
So these are all corroborated right there with the actual bets. I like that.
Yeah, these were he came out with them like a month ago too. So that's interesting. I didn't know that you guys were talking about the same things.
I didn't know either.
I mean,
by the way, Warren.
Let him mention that to you tomorrow. He's not going to hear this, right?
Warren did. We're guessing. We're hoping not. Warren didn't do any of his stuff till much later this year. Right?
He didn't. About a month ago. About 3 weeks ago, I guess. He came out with. There really wasn't a lot of movement in the market like there was previous years either.
It's true. There wasn't a Buffalo Bills that was so egregiously
under 7 wins.
Yeah, I remember from the last year. Yeah,
yeah.
That's right.
Here at the South Point, they took a large bet from me. I was even this year. I came in and I wanted to bet some season win stuff, and they are taking $10,000 on season wins over here
at South Point.
And there's a very large casino corporation in this town that I actually deposited 5 figures in my app to bet these season win totals, and I went to bet the first one for $3,000.
Nope,
and it said $500. And I lost it.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? The South Point's taking $10,000.
How much do you love Chrissy, Jimmy, and Vinny?
Yeah, I mean, they're great. They're great. I try to give everyone a good plug, who deserves it, and they're one of the sports books that deserve it. Right now, Circa
100%
and South Point are my sports books.
The pillars of Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're think about that. Circa, standalone, privately owned sports book, privately owned casino, and here at the South Point, privately owned. Getting away from the corporate mind and corporate mentality and pencil pushers and guys that make decisions up in the pulse of the casino office and for the pulse of the casino floor. Like I said before, if I worked for a casino in a big position, I wouldn't hire anyone that didn't gamble. I want you to know what it is to lose a paycheck before you make decisions for people that lose paychecks.
Seems like a very obvious thing, doesn't it?
It's not. Street smarts and common sense that's just gone with these college degree guys. Don't get me started.
Your Uncle Tony okay though? He's all right?
Yeah, that's what we need. We need guys like Uncle Tony coming over here. Street smarts, common sense, decision making skills. Yeah. It means more than a lot of college degrees. So
I do not disagree.
Yeah.
I do not. We'll see if we can extract from week 1 bets from Billy. We'll see. Maybe we can. Maybe we can't.
I'll give you some college stuff, yeah.
Oh, we got some college coming up. I like that as well. Bill Krackomberger, exclusively right here on A Numbers Game, at Bill Crackman with the K. That's where he tweets from. It's coming back on A Numbers Game at VSiN.
Keep it right here for more of A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
If you didn't catch VSiN last week, here's some of what you missed.
The bet I really want to talk about, though, is the Alabama Clemson versus the field prop.
Yes.
Okay? You know, we've had incredible response to that prop. We've taken more than twice as much money on that prop as we have on the entire Heisman Trophy pool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been, that was Ed Salmon. That was his brainchild. He opened it at Pick'em. We saw sharp money come in, minus 110 on the Alabama Clemson side. We went to minus 130. We had another sharp late, minus 130. We got as high as minus 190. Started to see some sharp money come in, plus 160, plus 150. We settled right now on Alabama and Clemson at minus 150. I mean, the season hasn't even started yet. So I definitely think the majority of the money is going to come in here over the next 4 months or so. But just a great response to that prop.
Thing about betting today, too. You got to have access to live lines. Let's talk about 4 elements. You got to have access to live lines, the in-game betting. You also, even if you do have access, can't really have a life that day when it comes down to it, because you got to be there to actually play in-game lines. 3, you got to be decisive about your decision, and 4, maybe a little math in there too. But I got off it, Jeff. I in-gamed Rory McIlroy at plus 105, minus 115, and minus 145. Now, we don't do a show during that match, right? During the tournament. So it sucks to be able to, you say this for 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and I think that's the main point I want to get across is because you set yourself up with really good Koepka bets, 5-1, 5-1, north of 5-1, just south of 5-1 for throughout. And then, by the way, I don't think they adjusted him properly either. And even though he didn't win, it is the process that matters. I get it. Results, it's a black and white thing. It's a win or lose business. But you got to think about if the process went the way it did, we set ourselves up for the ability, once we saw Koepka in the group of 3, because it was really Schauffele, McIlroy, and Koepka, where we could actually in-game our way out of it. Didn't end up winning all the money we could have Koepka had won, but we didn't end up losing because we were able to manage it based on the good pre-flop bets. And again, having access to in-game, being available to bet them in-game, and then, of course, being decisive about the in-game. And right after that, by the way, McIlroy shot to minus 400, minus 800, and then he was gone. Didn't even put up lines after that. So you have to really, there's so many things in order to just be a better, that can be successful even in defeat, quote unquote. You have to have all those elements. This is a tough gig.
Welcome back to A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
Back on A Numbers Game, Bill Krackomberger, faithfully here as always on Thursdays. We love the Crackman, at Bill Crackman with a K. Billy, in our remaining time, can we cede a few minutes on the bench to our friend Randy McKay here for a second?
No, definitely. I've known Randy for probably 15 years, and one of the sharpest guys in town. I know he was a fan of the year here or something, right? Is that right?
He was the VSiN fan of the year.
If they only knew, Randy, really about what you and I know about the things that we've done over the years together, and Randy is quietly one of the sharpest guys in this industry. Trust me. And I don't mean just a sports betting. I'm more talking about casino industry. Very sharp guy, and I'm glad to be friends with him.
And a great contest player as well, are you not, Randy?
Yes.
Would you consider yourself a great contest player? I'll use the word. You don't have to.
I've done pretty well on them. I would like to, of course, have a 7-figure cash instead of a 6-figure one, but
we all
would.
We all would. So just before we let you go here, what are you in this year then? What contest did you enter?
I am in both Westgates. I have 3 in the Circa. I have 3 in the Golden Nugget, and I did the William Hill.
All right.
You have any strategy you want to give the listeners? Do you think is there? I mean, I know we don't really want to give away the house, but there is some strategy for tournaments. Any strategy, any way you go about these tournaments?
The first is that he has 3 entries in some of them. That's the first bit of
The 3 entries is tough. What I'm doing this year with the 3 entries is I'm handicapping all games 1 through 16, and then I'll kind of mix and match round robin style. Mike Palm asked me that question when I was on with them guys on Monday. And just a basic strategy. I don't usually use Thursday games.
Right.
that kind of thing. You know,
You kind of wait. Can you put your selections in when the time comes, like last minute, and try to see what the line where it went?
Sure,
The
that's
lines come out Thursday or Wednesday night or Thursday, and you put your selections you're allowed to put them until Saturday morning. So do you wait till Saturday morning to put your picks in?
There's usually not that much information as far as NFL for the Saturday morning. So
Friday night.
You know, I'm betting a lot on Saturday, so I usually always put them in Friday night.
I'm interested that you're sort of you're varying the three early. I would have thought, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice. I would have thought that you would have been sort of similar on the three, and then later in the season you would have varied it up. But no, you're kind of differentiating from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm still kind of, working out my strategy. This is the first time I've had, like in the circle, I had 3 multiple entries in an NFL one. I've had multiple before in the Gold Nugget, which of course you can use college and pro in there, and you can get a lot more off the card that way.
Did you say you're in Last Man Standing too? Did I hear that, or did you not in that?
Yeah, I can do that one too.
Oh, you can do. You haven't joined it yet.
I am. Yeah, I did join.
Oh, you did. Okay. And how many entries in that one? I'm sorry.
I did the max, the 5 and 5.
5 and 5. Okay. Yeah, I think most people do 5. And the same thing for that. You're differentiating with that as well.
I might do the risky strategy to start that one. I haven't decided yet on that one.
I think that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
And is there some when you actually choose? Is it like a poker hand? Do you try to put your opponents on a hand, and do you watch everyone's picks, everyone else? Because this way it's almost like a blueprint. What they do every week sometimes, and the guys that you're battling at the end, do you sometimes look at their picks and put them on a poker hand or put them on try to figure out what their selections are going to be? Because if you have to catch up, sometimes you'll have to say, wow, I wish I knew what their game was ahead of me, because I would bet the opposite side. You have 2 weeks to go, and you'll bet the opposite side so you can gain 2 full wins. Do you do that at all?
I did that last year in the Westgate Gold. I had to catch up. I was right there in the top 10 with the last 2 weeks to go.
See, that's a good strategy. People don't know that. That's really a good nugget of information for people.
Yeah.
And that's a winner take all.
The game theory has to kick in late, but you don't do that the first half of the season or anything, do you? You're not watching what other people are doing. No.
Unless I really like one against the market, I'll go against the market sometimes.
I've never told anyone publicly about us that we won the contest before. Can I mention that? Sure. Randy and I won $500,000 in a contest here in Vegas, and that's what I did. I literally put the people that were behind me. I watched their picks every single week, and I literally picked off what the people, what the guy that was in contention for the winner. We were in first and second place, and I literally picked 4 of his games. Week 16.
Okay, that's what.
Yeah, we had $500,000 going on one game. Literally, it was the biggest bet in my life. I just didn't know it was going to happen. And Randy and I won that contest.
You care to tell us what
at
contest?
the M.
At the M.
Yeah, the M.
Oh, okay.
The M had a contest. It was a $500,000 winner take all or something like that. No, it wasn't a winner take all.
$100,000 buy-in.
It was $100,000 buy-in. And it was we went in on it, and that was the first year when Cantor was taking over the world. We probably didn't know that, right?
No, I didn't know that.
People forgot about it. But
well, congratulations to you all these years later.
Yeah, the money's gone anyway.
We got second the next year.
You got second the next year?
Yeah. No, it was really interesting stuff. So anyway,
all right.
There was only a dozen people in it. Maybe I think there was 16 people in it. But I mean, just game theory, thinking about what they were going to be on, it helped out so much at the last 2 weeks.
If you're in it late, either if you're ahead or you're behind, you got to do it.
Yeah.
There was also a legendary boxer in that contest.
Yes, we don't want to mention who, but
one of the main reasons we got
that's the main reason why we got in. We knew it was going to should be some.
Is the legendary boxer, was he still boxing at that time?
I think yes. Oh yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
I think we all know who that.
He might be coming back to box again. Actually,
yeah. I think we know who that might be. Bill, in our final 2 moments here, what do you got college football wise?
So I just I don't really like giving picks out, but just because the people judge you by one pick.
Of course they do.
But me and Jeff were just talking off air too.
My tennis guy had 2 weeks of solid winners, then he had a bad day yesterday, and somebody's killing him.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's never good to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
No.
After a public team like Auburn, not that they're the biggest public team, they had that victory last week, and I just think that Tulane is a good buy. Around town here, it's still some 18s. I took 18.5. Still some 18s. I think that's a pretty good pretty good buy. But there's also some.
Just to clarify, that was Tulane you're taking there?
Tulane.
Okay.
Tulane plus the points.
All right.
Yeah, again, you don't want to go with the offshore. It's 17 and a half. 17 and a half is okay, but you don't want to take 17 when you could take 18 here in Vegas. That's for sure. Some of the totals, we do a lot of totals, and like on 373, Arkansas, Mississippi State. I'm sorry, Mississippi. We went under there. If you can grab a 51, I see a 51 at Canner. Just speaking of Canner, still a decent bet. I went under 53. So everything I kind of bet moves my way because I need all these spots to bet. I have to have all these places to bet. So it kind of go my way. And I'm still the old school. I like to beat the closing line. So, it's important to me. I know doesn't mean as much as it used to mean. There's so much market manipulation out there and stuff. But, yeah, so that's about it.
We appreciate it. You don't hate me for extracting those from you, do you?
No, it's not a big deal. Great.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll God forbid if you go 0-2.
Yeah, I'll be on next week, and I'm going to run out here real quick, and I'll leave you with Randy. You guys can. He's like the most interesting man in the world that people don't know, but now they do know him on VSiN.
Bill, appreciate it as always.
Yeah, no
man.
problem.
All right.
Good deal.
Warren tomorrow, we hope, right here on a numbers game at VSiN. Coming back with perhaps a pick from Jeff Parlay. We shall see.
Keep it right here for more of A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
VSiN last week. Here's some of what you missed.
I thought Murray was really inconsistent. I mean, he goes on a bootleg and he gets a ball batted down out in space by Curse, the tall free safety of Minnesota. I'm not impressed with Arizona offensively at all. Now, they may be holding things back. Murray did not look to me like the first overall pick in the draft. He looked little on the field. I called him the mayor of Munchkin Land. I mean, he looks little. And it's going to be hard for him to throw the ball. When you get balls batted down out in space on a bootleg, that's a concern. I mean, that trajectory is not good enough. And so, he had some wide open receivers. He missed them. His accuracy wasn't good. This offensive line for Arizona, I didn't think was very good. Now, let's go over to Minnesota. Minnesota defensively, I think they're missing a defensive lineman. I just don't think they're as dominant as they once were on defense. And their secondary's got to play much better. I like Minnesota and Philly in the NFC. I really like Philly. I think Philly's got a special team. I think Philly's going to be really good.
See, you know this, and share it with our viewers if you would. Take out New England. Outside of New England, tell our viewers just how hard it is to win in this league. Luck and Manning, 20 years, one ring. Favre and Rodgers, 20 years, one ring.
I mean, it's impossible, right? I mean, look, if you're a Packer fan, you feel cheated. One ring with the two of the best quarterbacks. One ring with I mean, look, when Luck came in the league, he was compared to John Elway.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He was compared, and everybody thought he was going to win multiple ones, and everybody said the AFC is going to go through Indianapolis. And frankly, when you really watch the tape on Andrew Luck, he threw a lot of balls that should have been intercepted. I kept the tape when I was in New England, when I was in Cleveland, of Andrew Luck's dropped interceptions, and it was extensive. It was an extensive tape. I think he's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. Do I think he's John Elway? No. I think he got overblown coming out in that draft. I think he's a really good player. But the reality was he made a lot of mistakes with the football. He was careless with the ball. It wasn't Jameis Winston's carelessness, but he was. And if you just go back through and watch his tapes closely, you see a lot of interceptions that got dropped. And so now the Colts, for the first time in the last 20 years, have to face reality without a quarterback. That's not a fun thing to do.
The biggest overlay ever could have just walked in. Introducing the Circa Sports Million Pro Football Contest. $1 million to the first place winner, no matter how many entries, and no rake. It's 100% payback, guaranteed.
Welcome back to A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.
Wrapping it up on a numbers game today. Just to review, no tennis play today because both Bianca Andreescu and Serena Williams are priced properly in their respective U.S. Open women's semifinal matches. Our brain-dead September MLB parlay hit it yesterday, the four-teamer. Again, just shut off your brain. Play on teams that have something to play for against teams that don't here in the dog days, the final 4 weeks of the Major League Baseball season. Today, that brain-dead three-team parlay will be the Houston Astros, the Oakland Athletics, and the St. Louis Cardinals. Who beats us? I don't think anybody does. Once again, Houston, Oakland, and St. Louis. We do have some picks here from Randy McKay, who's kind enough to stick around for the final 2 minutes. Randy, who we just talked with last segment about his contest strategies. You have some plays this weekend, Randy?
Yeah, the two, I have lots of bets, but the two I'll give out is a early morning game, 3:05 Ohio. I took +6, but I think there's still value at +5.
All right, 3:05 is the rotation. MAC game between Ohio and Pitt. Ohio 5-point dogs.
Then the second one's a later game. It's a 390 Fresno State. And I gave that out as well on my guys on the desert. I like them at 3.5. I think it's a tough travel spot here for Minnesota, and the Mountain West played exceptionally well in these matchups against the other conferences, and I like the travel spot and everything at the home dog there in Fresno State.
Fresno State 3-point dogs at home against Minnesota. That's a tough game to figure out, but you've got conviction on Fresno State. All right, that's at 3 right now. One last one, or are those the two? You want to stick with those two?
Them are the two. Otherwise, I bet a lot of extra games in FCS, but a lot of them lines aren't available. There still some offshore, but usually Saturday morning, and I usually put some of them up on Twitter. I just didn't have time.
What's your Twitter, Randy?
At RR39.
RR39. Who won't remember that? At RR39. All right. Thank you, Randy. Good luck with all your contests. By the way, now that I know you have 3 entries in Circa, I'm not quite as good a mood I was moments ago.
Well, you just never know. I mean, what a great contest they set up first year, and
they really did a wonderful job figuring out exactly how to play it. $1,000 entry, no rake. Everybody pays for their own entries. Quarterly prizes. It's a beautiful thing. $1 million grand prize.
Yeah, one of the quarterlies would still be a nice score.
Yeah, and could be, if they get to 1,700, it could be $100,000 per quarter. So 1,700 entries, that is. Jeff, any for you today, closing out?
We are following you on the Moneyline Brain Dead parlay today.
Love it.
We're in the same spot today. Cardinals, A's, Astros, plus 248 is what that would pay.
I like it. And again, nothing on Chicago Green Bay. If you could take away anything from the show tonight, there's 200 and I believe it's quick math.
It'll be 255 games after
today. 256 total games in the NFL season. 255 after today. You do not have to bet it just because it's there tonight. Although, as Bill very accurately said, oh yeah, no, they have to. They have to. It's a thing. So don't feel the need to if you don't want to. Maybe play a little in game. For Bill Krackomberger, who we appreciate very much, and we will have Warren Sharp tomorrow. For Todd Wright, thank you so much for listening. Enjoy. It's VSiN.
Keep it right here for more of A Numbers Game with Gill Alexander.